January the 13th. At least it's not Friday the 13th, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Look, we're going to get into it today. You know, again, there are other topics to discuss, as we know. And what did I say? Glazers are going to spin it. You know, I've been saying on here it's going to be no signings, or one signing is going to be a panic signing, a cheap signing, a loan signing, and this is where we are at. Again, my information is pretty much correct. Brown Knight, love it, my friend. What did I miss? Absolute legend of this chat. Now, first thing to say is get into this brilliant community. You guys on here are absolutely fantastic. If you don't get into this community, you are missing out big time. Absolutely fantastic. I'm very, very fortunate and lucky to have you guys on here. What can I say? You guys are legends. You make the channel. Absolute legends. Nicky T, big up Nicky T. Brown Knight is in here. Scott is in here. Nikarutsu is in here. Herbie's in here. He says that thumbnail and the panic button, trust they are financially hammering the granny out of that button right now. It's panic stations. Again, I'll give you an update as well. Look, this person has been bloody fantastic. And I'll give you the latest on what I know as well. So get into this community, get into this chat. Second thing to say, I'm not a dictator of this chat. This really is your community. This really is your chat. I will read out your messages. This is why these shows take so long, because I genuinely do read out your messages. It's so important that you guys get in your opinions. We don't always have to agree. We don't mind the banter. Sometimes I may come back on a comment. There are certain things that I will not accept on the channel, and pretty much those are: don't be rude to the community, don't be rude to me, don't be rude to yourselves. We don't mind banter, but look, do not blame the fans. The fans are not the issue in this club, and there are certain things that I can handle. Most of the stuff I can't. I can. That topic for me is a no-no, and you will get instantly banned. So do not blame the fans. But look, let's get into it today. Last night's show, yesterday's shows were brilliant, absolutely fantastic chats. I think what we do right on here is I think that we are logical. We don't lie, and we don't do things for clicks. Now, Niku said, good afternoon, you handsome devil. Mate, you are far too kind. This shirt should get all the love. This is a fantastic shirt. I love it completely. Yeah, just to let you people know, obviously the free shirts have gone out as well. So Scotty, Nikarutsu, Dino, the shirts are on their way to me, and I will push out those shirts to you guys as soon as they arrive. The panic button has been pushed, so it's going to be permanently stuck. Nevers is possible, it says Scott. Where are we? If I can't bring in Nevers, sack the recruitment team. So look, I'll give you the latest update on that as well. I'll give you the latest on Neves as well. We can go through some of his stats, and we can sort of talk about that. Now, one of the things I have been saying on here, and we have been saying on this channel as well, is look, this is going to be zero signings, or zero signings, and the only signing that we will do will be a loan signing or a cheap signing, but it's only going to be one. Conor Gallagher was spoke about for such a long time, but that has now shifted, and the reason that has shifted is because the price of things gone up to 36 million, 35, and they've pivoted away from that because they cannot do a loan signing on that deal. So Atletico will not play ball the whole long. That has been the intention, but now they're going to have to shift because they don't want to spend the money. Mark Shuey said, told you Carrick will have his own staff, different to Amorim's Steve Almeida. Well, look, Mark, respect the comment, my friend. You did say that. It's a bit of an obvious one, though, because Amorim's staff went with Amorim, they were all sacked, and they were never going to retain his coaches. So look, Mark, you are completely right. But they were never going to keep his coaching staff. It was a bit of an unknown, but they're never going to keep his coaching staff because that's what in some respects, I think that was an obvious thing. Brown says, I bet Carrick would still rock that centre midfield role. Do you know what? I reckon he probably would. Ryan says, good afternoon, buddy. They sack Ruben to try and bring in another Ruben. Sean Bean says, why do you think a lot of ex-players? Why do you lot think an ex-player is the answer? Now, Sean, you've obviously not been on this channel before. I know that's probably aimed at the fan base. Sean, I don't think it is the answer. If you've watched this show before, it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. We do not agree. Well, I can't speak for everybody on here. I don't agree with it. I find it embarrassing. I'll give you an example. I can give you some examples. Chelsea, Rafinha, they didn't bother with an interim coach. They didn't go for a Dennis Wise, a Morris, Frank Leboeuf, a Terry. They didn't go for those players. I find it highly embarrassing that we've got a caretaker for the caretaker. This club is so badly run that they weren't expecting Amorim to be sacked. They basically wanted Amorim to toe the party line. There were not going to be any signings in this window. Hence why they've now pressed the panic button, because they know there are going to be protests. They know the backlash, and this is what United do. This is what they do. And I'll give you the latest, and in terms of what I've been told, what is out there as well. United are panicking behind the scenes. They are shitting themselves. They're absolutely shitting themselves, because what you've got to understand is this club is all about the positivity. And this is how you know the Glazers are in charge. It's because this is what they do. There's no value in the market, and they'll always do a cheap signing to placate the masses. And I guarantee you, everybody's going to fall for it. But look, we can get on to the Neves stuff as well. Look, is this a possible deal? Yes, it is. Will United now look to expedite that deal? Yes, they will. And it's seriously is looking like a deal that they can do. But look, this deal is not close, by the way. This deal is not close. So to answer that question, my friend Sean, we find it highly embarrassing that United have made this big thing. I will be surprised if they don't have Carrick playing a piano. I'll be surprised if they don't have him playing the piano, playing the trumpet, doing skills, because they want positivity on everything that they do. It is embarrassing. So the fact that we had Carrick is in charge, Ollie, and look, I'm not saying let's not back the manager here. I'm taking the person Carrick out of it. Look, he's applied for the job. This is not his fault, right? Why wouldn't he, as an ex-player, want this job? Okay, it is the connotations of what this means. We are a banter club, So Forest, all right. Forest sacked their manager. Fucking Wolves sacked their manager and got in an Edwards, right? Irrespective of whether Wolves are doing good or not, Wolves are even planning for the Championship by getting in a manager for the Championship. Edwards came in, was never expected to get survival. He wasn't brought in to do that. He was brought in to make sure that Wolves, when they go down, would have a coach in place. Even Wolves have planned ahead. So Forest sacked their manager, and whether Postecoglou was crap or not, guess what? They got a coach. Sean Dyche, they've literally got in and replaced. They've got him in. It is embarrassing. It's so embarrassing, and you know they are underprepared. And look, we're talking about this because Carrick. Here we go. whatever. They you know that this wasn't planned because they were expecting Amorim to toe the party line, and they panicked. They had to get rid of him because Amorim basically just went, look, you're going to mug me off. I'm now going to show the world what you guys are. So they sacked him. They sacked him with no plan. They panicked. Ollie was the guy. Until back end of last week, Ollie was the guy. Overnight, certain people won their ego race, and Carrick, he was installed because certain people forgot that they sacked Ollie and paid him a bunch of money. So this is what we're having to deal with. Let's have a little look what we're saying. To be honest, with a name like that, I thought you was I'm done with the whole game. To be honest, it's a right state, says Sean. As a Spurs fan, I have nothing but respect for United as a club. And look, I've got a lot of time for different fan bases, right? This is not a channel whereby if you're a Liverpool fan, a City fan, even a Spurs fan, Burnley fan, Coventry fan, you're not going to kick out on here, right? One thing I value on this channel is an interaction with different fans. The one thing that you will know or learn about me is I do not blame fans. Unless there is abuse, and what I mean, is proper abuse towards owners, action in terms of physical action towards players and owners. I do not condone that. Okay, that is the one time where you can look at the fans. But this channel is about, look, it's really important for me to not understand our fan base, but to understand what other rivals think of us. And even if it's for banter, we don't mind banter. But look, Spurs fans, Spurs are in a very, very similar position to that. And why not come on here and seek solace of a club that are very, very similar to you guys? So, I completely respect it, my friend. Dave the Red says hi. We're 9 times out. Look, Glazers propped up Radcliffe as a human target while continuing to run the club into the ground. I do agree with that. He does have a... I'll leave you guys to that. You can see examples all through the league of yes men head coach bullshit. I do agree. Thank you. I think their manager targets are not free until the summer. That's why it's an interim until the season. And look, Ryan, I think that's a very logical observation, right? And look, I don't. I'm not going to call you out on it. I think that's a very right and a logical thing to say. Now I've got two points on that, and it's not on your comment. It's just you sparked off a conversation, right? Number one is they don't know what they're doing. There was no plan in place. They were genuinely expecting Amorim to stay. They never expected him to leave. And they were hoping that he would turn this around, get fourth, and everything would be hunky-dory, right? There is no succession plan in place. A club of our size, Ryan, should have a succession plan. Second of all, right, you're saying that you don't think the targets until the summer are free. Mate, that is Glazer thinking, mate. That is, and I'm not saying for a second that you support the Glazers, but that is thinking that we've been used to hearing, and we accept it. Oh, the managers are not there until the summer. We can't get the managers, because they're just not there. We are United. Look, and I'm not just saying this, by the way. Real Madrid, United, Barcelona, Liverpool, City, Bayern Munich. Why are we programmed into believing that let's wait until the summer because the managers aren't there? I don't give a flying fuck. I don't give a flying monkeys. go and get your manager. If you want an Emery, if you want a Howe, I don't care. In life, and this is not about an arrogancy, this is about fact, right? If you're a big fish in a small pond, you take what you want. And when I say take, I don't mean take because I believe in that, right? This is football. This is supposed to be factually, and I get messages about this all of the time. United are not a big club. I can laugh out loud. We are a big club. There's a difference that needs to be set here and a precedent that needs to be set. United are an irrelevant club in terms of the conversation about the Premier League, FA Cup, the Champions League. But do not misunderstand, United are the biggest club in England still. And the reason why I keep pushing it is because we've got to hold them to those standards, and it's embarrassing. United should be going out there, going to Aston Villa and saying, we will compensate you for your manager. We want Emery to come to the club. Emery, name your price. Villa, here's some money. You're coming to us. And if Emery, and if you battle Emery and he doesn't want to come, then that's fine. But then you go to Howe and say, we're going to take him from you. There is no excuses, Ryan. Look, mate, I completely respect the view, and that is a very logical view to have. But my view is we are supposedly high end, we are supposedly elite, we are supposedly this new club who goes and gets the best of the best. Go and get the manager. I do not prescribe. We've got to wait for the terms of another club. We've got to be waiting on clubs. We've got to be waiting on an Aston Villa. No, we do not play to their tune. Any organisation in the world, any big organisation in the world will go and get their man. They will say, I don't care. You are saying no. I don't care. We are taking your guy because we are United, because we are Liverpool, because we are a Munich. That is what you do. So look, Ryan, mate, I'm not calling it out, but I genuinely do not prescribe to this Glazer thinking, oh, you know, we've got to wait till the summer to buy these players. We've got to wait until the summer to get a coach. No, but we have to because we are a small-minded club and we've got no money. 0 brain cells on our board for 20 years, says Sully. The main problem is the owners. I would 100% agree with you. Exactly that, JB. No brain cells or ego. Forza Milan. Doesn't matter what manager will get and not backed. Exactly. If you're an Arsenal fan, get out, says Grace. I hope playing abroad hasn't masked any decline in Neves. Might have had if we do buy him. Sean says Maresca highlighted it, Amrin highlighted it, Emery has rejected Harvey Elliott, clearly not his signing. Slot obviously has squad members he doesn't fancy. So many clubs have had so many people butting in. Our own fans at Spurs literally abuse our manager and our own players. It's just like, and look, mate, this is what I mean, right? There's nothing wrong in voicing your feelings, right? I do not believe in abuse. There is nothing wrong in criticising a player or telling them about their performance. But when you start abusing a manager, when you start abusing players, it's not right. You know, criticise players, yes. You know, have a logical pop. And look, if you do it in an angry tone, then that's fine. But you're right, you know, abusing your players and abusing your coach, it's just not right at all. Susan says, any news? I will come on to the news as well. At least United aren't signing ex-captains such as Conor Gallagher. Gallagher to Spurs. Look, we need Ramos while the window's open. Wave cutter, mate. Respect. I don't understand this obsession with a Ramos. I just don't get it, mate. What is Ramos going to do? Look, I'm going to ask you the question, right? What is Ramos going to do to to help this club out? And look, this is a question I'm genuinely asking. So I've seen this a couple of times. What is Ramos going to do to aid this club? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. At least the bloke you banned was honest. We need a manager that can be trusted. United just need to sign a dedicated centre-back who can run. Leave about the managerial players. Who would come in our current position? And that is one of the Sinead, that is one of the questions. That is one of the questions. Hello, people. Nobody legend. Not rewind, but fish. It's rewind me about Grimsby Town. Mr. Good evening. Why would Emery come? The club has no patience for success. United is a far bigger club than Villa. Let's have a little look. United are bigger. Yeah, we are. Emery's aware how United treat the managers. Both Emery and Howe are happy where they are. Other than the money, they would not come to United. Look, guys, some good points. What about Jose? No, thank you. Emery's probably revered at Aston Villa. Look, I'm not saying, and don't get confused about this. I'm not saying that Emery would come at all. I think he'd be sensible. But that is what I would do. If I was this club and we were a competent club, I would go and get him. Doesn't mean he's going to come. I don't believe he will come. But if I was a competent club, then that is what I do. Who should replace Amorim and Xabi in your opinion? Look, Amorim it's going to be such a difficult sell to us fans. I think it's going to be Glasner, Irola, Enrique apparently is doing the rounds. Tuchel, Ancelotti's doing the rounds as well. If I had my choice, and it's not a popular opinion, I would go for an Eddie Howe. I would go for an Emery. Glasner. Look, look. Glasner for me is a massive no. There are certain things that you do in life you can't come back from, and in my opinion, Glasner cannot come back from losing to Macclesfield Town. Not for me. And Xavi Alonso. Do you know what would make me laugh, by the way? Do you know what would make me absolutely piss my pants? Is if Amorim went to Madrid. If Amorim went to Madrid as an interim manager, it would absolutely make me piss my pants. Xavi Alonso, I don't know. I really don't know. Madrid are going to try to get the best coach that they can. Are they going to looking to get? Is it not Kovacic? Can't remember his name now, but he was in the German league. It begins with a K. Can't remember his name now. Maybe they look at an Arteta. Madrid. I don't know. I really don't know. Emery comes to United. He's just a manager who is dispensable. I'm in a mood today. I need to apologise. You don't need to apologise at all. They told Fergie to get Scholesy but in attendance for the game to portray they are exactly that. JB, we are setting up for Southgate. Look, a couple of weeks ago, months ago, I was of the opinion, and I was dead set, if Amorim gets sacked, Southgate is the one to come in. Now, Southgate at the moment has ruled himself out. Doesn't mean to say that he's not going to come back into the fray, but I think at the moment, I think the backlash is such that I don't think Southgate would dare come to this club, but don't rule him out. Looks like Napoli are trying to snap up Gomez. Exactly, Nicky. Thoughts on Steve Holland being Carrick's assistant? Steve Holland, look, plenty of experience. England as well. You know, you I think he'll do a job. Is Steve Holland the best in class? No. Is Carrick the best in class? No. We're talking about championship level manager who failed. Steve Holland, we're talking, again, we're talking about championship. We're talking about low end. We aren't talking about high caliber. We're not talking about, high end, best in class. And look, these guys will do a job. The one thing I will say is, look, I'm going to back him. Carrick is a very, very smooth operator. He keeps his cards close to his chest. He does and understand the club, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. But look, this is what we have become: middle of the road, mid-table club who has mid-table thinking. And my club is ran by a bunch of melts. Turns out my boy's knee is worse than it's thought. And his last game, he asked the coaches to come off because of the pain and played another 25 minutes with a busted knee. Could be out for 2 months. Look, sorry to hear that. That is frigging awful. Do we really need Ramos? I'd say bring him in, but we need to sell to force Maguire out. Sergio Ramos is 40 years old. What is Ramos? Look, Ramos for me is not going to do a single thing in this side. Not for me. Liam says, good afternoon all. I hope to God that Steve Holland coming in as assistant is not a primary move to Southgate coming in over the summer, and that's another consideration. Steve Holland coming in England, is this has this got all of the hallmarks of a Southgate? So I will keep my ear to the ground on that, because it will be terrifying if Southgate comes into this club. It will be terrifying. But weeks and weeks and weeks ago, this was something that I mentioned. Why don't United get and Postecoglou? Oh my good lord. Yes, Sergio Ramos. It's all right, lads. Steve Holland's here now. Cheers. He's gutted, to be honest, but at least has a Manchester derby to look forward to. Would you consider Kieran McKenna at Ipswich? No. Look. Do you mean Kieran McKenna as assistant, or Kieran McKenna as a coach? Because Kieran McKenna is not best in class. Like, we need to stop this whole, would we take Kieran McKenna? Would we take Carrick? Would we take Ollie? Rooney now is touting for a job. Like, Rooney now is saying that he would love to come in and coach. Like, Rooney, probably our greatest player of all time, a legend. I don't want Wayne Rooney anywhere near this club. I'm sick of this. Friends! United friends! Rooney, Carrick, Rooney, Scholes, Nicky, friends! Pay, friends! Let's give them money, friends! Free tickets, friends! Football friends, ex-friends! Friends! Like, we are slowly becoming this Friends FC mates rates. Do you know what? We're not even becoming that. We are that. We are Mates Rates FC. We are Friends FC. We are the In-Betweeners FC. We are this. I just don't know what we are. Carrick will attack a back three, but we'll have one person closer to Sheska in 3-5-2 in attack. We have to find a way for Martinez in next to Casemiro, like what Pep did with the Stones. If Sergio Ramos came tomorrow, I would never complain about anything again. Let's have a look. Is there any possibility of United doing a signing this month from Golden Boy from Gambia? I'll tell you what I've been told again all season long. United will either do zero business or they'll do a cheap to loan signing. I've been saying this the entirety of the window. Now, Gallagher, was going to be the guy, because they've been what they've been doing is they've been negotiating with Atletico Madrid, because they've done all of the legwork. But what they want is United are cheap. So United have gone to Atletico and busting their hump saying, we want him, but it's only going to be on a loan. We want a loan to buy. We basically don't want to spend any money. We want on a try to buy. Okay. Atletico haven't budged on this stance. They want to sell the player. They want to sell the player. So United, no intentions of doing anything else. Amorim got sacked and they are panicking. They are shitting themselves, because they know now that they have to do something in this market with a limited budget. Neves is the guy that's used. And look, I'll give you what I know on this signing. Now, they have been linked to this signing, and how you know this is a panic buy and a bunch of crap, because when Amorim is here, it was mentioned, because we get linked to every single player, right? He was not on the radar, nowhere near the radar. But Carrick has come in, and this is the perfect opportunity, the perfect spin chance right this second to spin this fan base. And I guarantee you this, United will do everything to spin this out, and you'll start to believe that United will get into a top 4 race. As much as we need a midfielder, right? I hope Carrick does well. I hope Carrick can get into the top 4 or 5. They will spin this out, and the majority of this fan base will be back on side. There is a reset. Every single game there is a reset. You will go out and get this deal, and it will be positivity street until the end of the season. It will be positivity street. Neves, as much as I like the signing, and I will applaud the signing, because we have to do it. What is Neves going to do? We needed 2 or 3 in this window. We needed a support striker. We needed probably another midfielder. We probably needed another left back, wing back. It's business we could have done. It's business that we should be doing. Any progressive club would use a window, but we can't because of the debt. And somebody yesterday basically said that the debt doesn't impact the spend. We basically just need to bring in some more money. That's not how it works. You can't just bring in more cash. We made a record income from our home games and our record income. There is no money. If you look at the trail, there is no money. There is no cash at all. So this is why, look, this is why they're panicking. The panic button has been pressed, and United are scrambling to do some sort of cheap deal to give Carrick something. Now, it is reported that he's available for 20 million, 15 to 20 million. His contract expires in the summer, which makes him cheap. Look, if United do this deal, I'm not going to applaud it. I refuse to applaud a deal whereby we've got a gap in our in the midfield, right? Going to get a Neves shouldn't be applauded. It's a basic signing. It is not a game-changing player. Don't get me wrong, he is a good player that will be there to fill a gap. £20 million. This is and he's there to be taken. It's not as if we're going to have to negotiate with the club. It's not as if we are going to be fighting for this player. He's basically there for somebody to walk up to, and if you're willing to pay the price, he's there. He's £20 million. You know, you could probably do the deal over 2 years, £10 million a year. You could pay him 180k a week. It's a piss easy deal to do. Absolute piss easy. So look, whilst I like the player, this is not a spectacular deal. But look, this club is gonna spin it. It is gonna spin it until at the end of the window Neves is a good player. It's somebody that I've said that I would get, but it is not enough. So he's available for that. There is going to be competition. There is going to be some from Serie A. There is going to be those sorts of clubs because he suits those sorts of clubs. He's perfect. He's perfect. So we'll see. There is no official deal in place, by the way. No formal contact has been made yet, so don't believe all that bollock spin that's out there. Talks haven't advanced at this stage. It is still an initial conversations. Will United look to expedite that conversation? Possibly. But United are not actively working on the deal right now. Neves obviously has refused to sign a contract. The one thing that we do have to consider, which is not being considered here, by the way, is the wages. Now, look, Neves, I'm sure, will happily come down in wages. I'm sure he's been paid more than enough money at Al Hilal to basically secure him and his family forever, right? So could this be that he's coming back ahead of the World Cup? Is this he's coming back because he wants to be competitive? I would probably say yes, it is. So, look, Neves, for me, I think he's a good player. I think he's a good reliable, consistent squad player. I think he reminds me of an Ericsson type, and what I mean by that is he's a very, very functional player on his day. Fabulous player. Would he be consistent if he comes back? That is ultimately the question. He has been out of the pace of the Premier League for a while. Are we? One of the things to say here is that, again, as much as I like the player, we're gonna go out and to save our season, we're going to be looking to bring in a cheap midfielder from the Saudi League who's not been playing in the Premier League. He's going to come in. He's going to have to acclimatise back to the Premier League again. I think once you've been out of the Premier League, look, he knows what to expect. I've no doubt about that. But our saviour is going to be a £18 million Portuguese player that has played in Al Hilal for the last 3-4 seasons. Welcome to United, people. Welcome to United, because this is our club right now. But the caveat to that is this: look, at this point in time, are United going to shit themselves that much that they're going to make more than a singular signing? I've been told, I've been adamant on this up until the 13th, which is today. United didn't plan to make any signings other than one loan signing. And I'm still led to believe that there is going to be a singular signing, and that's it. United could do a Neves plus a loan signing, but it's going to be cheap. It is going to be cheap. I'm sure the managers are scared to take the United job with this ownership. There is so much negativity around United right now. We're 7th in the league, 3 points off of top 4. We can pull some results out of our asses, then it's still possible. I'd say we get top 5, and I will stick to that. Look, Scott is ever the positive guy, right? I've predicted 8th and 10th full season. That if Carrick can get a tune out of these players, it is possible. We have up top, we have some good players, right? I still can't stand these players. I absolutely cannot stand these players. Absolutely cannot abide these players. But if Carrick can get a tune out of these players, This is down to Michael Carrick. And even if Carrick takes us into the top 4, I don't want him. We need the best in class still. What's the name of the 17-year-old South African left back we signed a couple of years ago? Obi injured, or is he just not playing in the youth side? Obi is it Leon you're thinking about? Obi's not injured, or he could have been injured, but I don't think he is now. Obi is just not getting into the side because he was 16 years old. Look, there's this, when these young players come into the side, and particularly if they're 16 and they're bigger than their compatriots, right? If you're 16 and you're 6'2", I mean, when I was 15, when I was 14, I was 5'1", right? I basically didn't grow until the summer after, and then I grew 9 inches. Not talking about, I grew a lot. And if you're small at that, if you're big at that age compared to your compatriots, you're going to look good. OB, as time continues, but also don't forget, can we develop players? That is a massive consideration. So I would send OB on loan. Leon has gone to Nice, is it? Is Ramos 40 solid pass then? Never turn about Ramos ever. I'm sorry, it's a hard no from me. I'm not familiar with English NT, but has Southgate ever managed in the Prem? Middlesbrough. He managed Middlesbrough and went down with them. What England did with what Southgate did with England was phenomenal. Hi, I'm from Slovenia, says Boris. Jobs for the lads, exactly. I swear I put him in the basement yesterday, but maybe I didn't. These legends are hurting the club. Your time has passed. Just support and motivate the guys and stop the negativity. Look, I respect the opinion, Paddy, but no. I will look. These players have let us down again and again. I will support this club, and I will support the badge. I will support the club. I will support the fans. I will not support these players. I will not motivate these players. These players do not deserve it. These players do not deserve it. I will not blindly look. To me, there are certain things that people say that are Glazer, right? I'm not saying that you are. I'm not suggesting it. And your comment is a relevant comment, right? If that's what you think, fine. I cannot blindly support. Right. These players lost to Grimsby, to Brighton, right? Burnley, they drew. Everton, they lost at home. These players have been shit all season. But am I supposed to go, no, lads, it's fine. They finished 15th last season, right? Am I just supposed to go, lads, it's fine? Mediocrity. That is how you perpetuate a mediocre club, right? Is you motivate these guys and go, guys, it's okay, guys. You moaned about a month and a bit ago, but it's so hard, it's so difficult. We can't handle the pressure. The ex-players are so harsh on us. They should know how it feels to play in this club. No, it is a privilege and an honour. Why should I, Paddy, have to motivate players? Why should I have to motivate and be licking their asses of players who are in a privileged position, who get hundreds and thousands of pounds per week? They play for this club. The pressure for these players should be an honour. I will not motivate these wankers. These players, as they've shown for the last 2 games, it is these players. They have sacked multiple coaches. I will not be positive on these players. I cannot stand these players. My positivity comes from hope. My positivity comes from the fans, comes from the badge that eventually the Glazers will piss off. Eventually, these players will piss off. But I will not support these players. I can't stand these players. There are only a couple of players. Lacey, I will support Lacey, motivate him until the ends of the earth. Aiden Heaven, fantastic player. These young guys, Shesko, Dorgu, these young guys who are passionate, and whether people think that Dorgu is good or not, I will not motivate these players. I will not support these players, because if you are Bruno Fernandes, 31 years old, and you need me to motivate you, if you need me to tickle your balls, piss off. Piss off. I'm tired of this mediocre. Oh, we've got to support these players. Oh my God, it's so hard. It's so hard earning 280k a week and doing 90 minutes once a week in front of people who adore you. No, not in a million years. Ramos would have been great 10 years ago. I do agree. Xavi Alonso is available. Let's have a look. Top three of the Premier League have Spanish managers. It's the common denominator. Getting Xavi Alonso with no Gallagher or Barrios. I hope Carrick can get us far in big games coming up. What will Neves bring to United, and what else do we need to compete? Look, Neves will bring us some stability, right? But Dalot is still here. Luke Shaw is still here. Maguire is still here. Casemiro is still here. Bruno Fernandes is still here. And look, the comments today, look, I completely respect it. I do, right? But the comments on here again, we're falling into this trap of, I hope Carrick can do this amazing job. We should be a singular signing. What's he going to bring? And look, Jamie, like I'm not going to call that out because you're asking a question. But Neves on his own can't bring anything. We've still got a Dalot. Fernandes, he's been injured, right? But he's been shit all season. Luke Shaw is still here. Like, one signing is not good enough. He'll bring in some experience. He'll bring in. I think he's got a good IQ. I think he'll link up well with Bruno Fernandes. I think he will have some stuff. But what about the guys behind? What about Luke Shaw's, the Dallots? We need to destroy it in the midfield, says Jamie. JB will be out of Trafford for unveiling of Neves and the live show. Mate, if I had time, I would do JB to set up a GoFundMe fund for the Neves deal. I know it's off topic, but when do you think De Ligt will be back? Because apparently it was a knock and it's almost 2 months. Your guess is as good as mine. I've heard another 2 weeks. I've heard he'll be back after the Arsenal game. But again, look, we know again, XD, that this club, when it comes to players, they lie. Even the medical department lies about injuries. Even the medical department lies. So we're never going to know. The latest is, I think, is 2 weeks. Stop the yeah. We need an Anderson, Wharton, or Baleba for the midfield. Anderson's not coming. Wharton's not coming. Baleba will probably be the one. I think somebody said it on here. I think Wharton goes to. Liverpool. I think Anderson goes to Man City. But again, though, I don't want to pay £100 million for a singular player when we need a whole team. It would be. It's just, Anderson is the sort of player that you sign when you're going to sign another 5 players. We're not going to do that. Are you the guy that was telling everyone your sources were promising Ollie would be there? No, I never promised that. I never promised that. If you listen, if you came on to the show and you listened, right, to the show, I gave you an update every single day, right? Ollie was the favourite. Ollie was the guy. Whether you like that or not, whether you believe that, I couldn't give a fuck. I don't believe that, okay? I come on here and I told you updates. I told you that Carrick was going to come in the next day. I even said that the odds were getting shorter and shorter up until Saturday. Ollie was pretty much the favourite. Then they pivoted. Guess what? That's what happens in life. That is what happens in life. I have gone for jobs, right? But I've been nailed on to get the job, right? And then at the very last second, they interview somebody else or something happens, right? And then guess what? They change their minds. This is United. They will change their minds on a drop of a hat. Ollie was the guy, and then they pivoted. You can't mitigate for that. Guess what? It happens. There are other things that I've been told that have come true, and I'll give you an example of that. After the Leeds game, I come on here and I told you that Amorim was going to get sacked. No one else said it. I come out and said it that Amorim was going to get sacked, and watch Fletcher the next couple of hours, and guess what? It happened. It wasn't a guess. How could I have that guess? I'm not smart enough to know that Amorim was going to get sacked after that game, and then Fletcher was going to come in. So don't come on here and call me out. Things change. Things do change, and whether you can handle that or not, user, because you're hiding behind some shitty account, I really don't give a fuck. I will be open and honest and tell you everything that I hear or have been told. But guess what? People don't get 100% right. Ornstein doesn't get 100% right. Romano doesn't get 100% right. And no doubt your saviour on other channels, they don't get it all right. These things happen in life, and I will not apologise for the things that I say when I know that they're coming from a legitimate source. If you don't like that, user, stop hiding behind some shitty account and have a proper conversation. If not, go away, because I couldn't give a shit. I'll never understand how the owners don't understand the input, and also as well, right? I just want to say this as well, right? If your biggest concern, user, again hiding behind some shit account, if your biggest concern is that I got the interim mostly wrong, right? And the interim coach is the biggest thing for you. Oh my God, it is an irrelevant thing. It is an irrelevant point. It doesn't matter who we got, because guess what? Ollie or Carrick, it's a bit like saying, do you want to be punched in the face or punched in the bollocks, right? So if that's your biggest concern in life, user, again hiding behind some shitty account, you need to go outside more, mate. You literally need to get out more in life, because do you know what? People get things wrong. Shoot me that my source wasn't privy to the entire the entire club. Things change, and if you don't like it on this channel, feel free to go forth and prosper. I'll never understand how the owners don't understand the importance of the midfield. We've called Carrick as a manager before even replacing Carrick as a player. That is a great point. Ollie was favourite until literally a few. Look, Ollie was the guy literally up until the Saturday, and then Carrick won out. The reason why Carrick won, let's have this straight. The reason why Carrick won was because everybody started calling United and Ollie and the Glazers out and Ineos out because they sacked Ollie for 10 million. That's the reason why Ollie is not in charge of this club. It's because he got sacked. You look at Southgate is England's all-time the greatest manager. You could say Alf Ramsey or Bobby Robson. You've got to give it to Alf Ramsey. I think Zaja has blocked me because I can't anything they're typing. You're not missing much today. Big Jack for Ireland's up there. Exactly. What your prediction ahead of the Manchester derby? Look, I keep saying this, right, and I'm probably going to jinx it, right? Previously, I would expect a manager bounce, right? I don't think we beat City. Now, look, people are going to say this, and could it happen? Anything can happen. Anything can happen, right? These players are in such a state. These players are in an absolute state, right? Are these players on their day capable of beating City and Arsenal? Anybody is, right? I genuinely cannot predict this game, right? If I was going to predict this game, City wins it. City wins it 9 times out of 10. But look, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna sit on the fence here because I don't trust this team. I'm not gonna be a liar. I'm not gonna give you false hope. I'm not gonna pretend to be, right on this one. I genuinely don't know. I would say if I'm giving you a percentage, I'm 70% that will lose or draw. I don't think it matters that it's a derby. I don't think these players care that it's a derby. I am concerned. Could we get beat 4-0? Yes, we could. Could we win 4-0? No. I genuinely think that we lose this, and this could be this could be an horrific result. But look, this is a derby. Give you some shining light in it. In Bumo, Ahmad could be back into the fray. I wonder if De Ligt's going to make a sneaky return. I don't think he will. Shesko is scoring. Fernandez is back in the 10, but as we know, Fernandez goes hiding in these games. The biggest concern for me are the wing backs, the left backs. I think City are gonna have too much for us. But if I was a gun to my head and I had to predict it, and I hope I'm proved wrong on this one, I think that United lose 3-1. And now let's have a little look. Lumen says he's going to Italy. Personal terms have been agreed. It wouldn't surprise me, Lumen. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's have a look. Do you think Carrick will be able to accommodate both Ahmed and in Boomer in the starting 11? The partnership on the right was one of the good things about Amorim's system. Can he accommodate them both? You could accommodate them both if you play them both in the wide 10 positions. If you play Ahmad, you could play Ahmad on the left wide 10. You could play Mbumo on the right wide 10. I suspect he'll probably do that. Mason Mount. Look, will he play him? Probably. But will he continue Ahmad as a right or left back, because that is what his position has been. Will he continue him as a pseudo left back? Possibly. Yes, I do think he can bring him into the team. I think I would probably put Ahmad in as that 10 wide a sort of hybrid 10 and a wide 10, split in 10. I'd put in Bumo and Ahmad as those split in 10s. Fernandez behind them, and then Shesko up front. So yeah, there is scope, and I think you have to accommodate Ahmad as well. But then Cunha, where does Cunha play? So look, it is that is a problem for Carrick to solve. You can get Ahmad back into the squad, but does Ahmad now fall to the bench? One time is better than none, yes. Lookman 13 million is cheap. If Lookman is available for 13 million, go and get him. Scott says, I've said all season. Yeah, look, Scott, if you're right, my friend, hands down to you. You must, Ferguson should have a role with Carrick as well at the club. So Gabriel, Xavier Alonso in. I would give you can't because he's too young. Gabriel can't play. He can't play. You needed to be 15 by a certain date. Gabriel was not going to play this season. He can't play this season. JB says he grew 9 inches. I wish. A Liverpool man, but not a Liverpool legend, is he? He may work. That's the South African lad. Sandre Campbell from Club Brugge. He plays on the left and pretty decent player. Liverpool, no bin dippers. Get through these chats. Left wing back Robinson, striker Lookman, midfielder Pablo. And look, these are the players. If we are looking at bargain basement players, go and get them, because right now I don't care if we don't get an Anderson, right? We need players, and if there is scope to do these deals at a good price, go and do it. And I agree with you completely. Enrique won't leave. I don't think he will. We shouldn't have to motivate him. They should give us something to cheer about. Also, after the PSG high, I doubt he can take this sinking ship anywhere. Only Sir Ferguson has won a major league title at Manchester until the last 59 years. The image of JB chasing Bruno around the pitch just to tickle his balls is true. It's true. It is true. The only 200 a week, that should be all. Exactly. More technical Spanish players will improve us. Get Walter Mitty in. Nothing will happen in this window. If JB was to chase Bruno around, he would make the trenches. Remember, he is a tripod. Also, as well, I'm just going to say this. Bruno Fernandes, I bet, I guarantee this, Fernandes, I would beat him in a race. So there'd be no running away from me. I would catch him. Easy peasy. Mac says, hi, hello, Mac. Imagine Southgate. Jesus Christ. Only cost 10 mil to sack. I don't see what they sack him and then bring him back. Was just going to say that, Scott. Yes, Southgate reminds me of the plank out of Ed and Eddie. I love that. Is this even live? Yes, it is. There are so many chats. I try to get through the chats. This is what I do. Imagine being a United fan. I do every day because no one's talking to me. I stumbled into a Goldbridge chat this morning. God, the people in the chat blow absolute rockets up that twat's arse, don't they? I don't watch it, so you guys will have to look. Goldbridge is the Messiah, right? You know, it is what it is. I don't know what we're saying. Gone, just joined. Are we getting Neves? Look, is there a possibility? Yes, but United are late to the party. There is no concrete talks right now. There are links because everybody's going to be linked with him. We are panicking. We are linked with him because we are panicking, right? It is a bit like You go to the shops and you know that there's a bargain deal on, and you leave it, and then you suddenly go, I need to go and get that thing, right? We are panicking. We are absolutely panicking. Ineos, the Glazers, are hitting the panic button because they are shitting themselves, because they know they have to do something. And I've been saying this all season, by the way. This is why I am completely chilled. Unlike other channels out there who've been talking about signings left, right, and centre, some menu, I've been chilled. I've been absolutely chilled because I know the truth. We were never going to make a signing, or we were going to make one signing. Gallagher was the guy until Atletico decided that they were not going to budge. United tried to do a loan to buy, a try before you buy deal. Atletico just said piss off. So now United have got the backlash, the protests are back. Glazers spin it. Ineos are spinning. They're panicking. What can they do? They would do something. They would do something, or they will try to do something. What it is, I don't know. Sancho renewal. Here we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why do you talk like a gold bridge? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. You're entitled to your opinion. Maybe because we're men of a certain age. I don't know. I really couldn't give a shit. I don't know, Paddy, how you expect me to answer that question. I don't know. I really don't know. City a bit shaky at the back, but attacking midfield is scary. People in the Goldbridge chat are hanging onto his meat, waiting to give him a full treatment. Goldbridge chat is absolute wank. Yeah, it is. Goldbridge will sit on the fence until an actual decision is made. Because Goldbridge will placate his audience. I don't. Sean Bean says linked to Neves both before and after Amorim sacking, who's making the signings. Look, I don't disagree with that signing. People want an Anderson, a Wharton, a Stiller. If we could get two of those, just fantastic, right? But we don't have a squad. Like, if the AFCON has shown us anything at all, we don't have the squad. Kobe Manu right now is not up to it, right? Imagine if we imagine this squad. Imagine a midfield of Neves, Gomez, a Baleba, a Manu. Imagine that midfield. What amazing options to have, right? I'm hoping that Neves deal does happen. My only observation is, unless there's something else, and look, I would applaud this club, because right now, and again, I will get called out for this, no doubt, user 72345, who's an absolute pussy, who hides behind a user. No doubt he's from another channel, I guarantee it. As of now, from what I've been told for the last 2 months, United, as of this point, do not expect to sign players. The reason for this is because they weren't expecting Amorim to be sacked. They were expecting him to toe the line. Things change. They're in panic mode right now. They're in panic mode. They weren't expecting him to get sacked. They've sacked him. They do what they always do. They have to do something. So they will do something, and they will do something cheap. If they do anything else, this hasn't been planned the whole season. Right up until this point, if they go and sign a big signing, I will applaud it. But this hasn't been planned. For the last 13 days, for the last 2 months, United haven't planned anything at all. This will be a reactionary signing. This will be a signing that shows you that the Glazers are still in charge. Glazer isn't worth to talk about. He's pure and utter wankness. If anybody here wants to blow smoke at nobody there, only till their number is shouted out to wait their turn. Can't stand any of them on that channel. I'm picky with people. He only reads super chats. Somebody give 50 quid the other day. No proper left back. Carlos Baleba is needed at this stage. Poor people need better things to spend their money on. Why do you support United? Unknown practitioner. I will answer that question. The question is very, very simple, and no doubt that is aimed because my accent isn't a Manchester accent. I've heard it all before. My granddad, my uncle, they passed it down to me. I've always supported the club. I got bought shirts. I started to support the club of my own accord since 1987, 88. It was my choice. So I, as many people do, they inherit a club. And I inherited this club, and I've never moved, and I never will be. Why do you come here to ask silly questions? What happened to Brighton versus United? What happened was a lack of passion, desire, players' limitations. The squad construction is awful. It was just an excuse for them. How many times are these players going to give up? Brighton didn't surprise me. Scott says, my perfect midfield is Baleba and Valverde. Look at the positives. Rashi will be back. Oh, my goodness me. There's way better things to spend 500 beans on than donate it. How many packs could you get for that? Sally says, can't make things up about people. If you don't like them, then that's not integrity either. I'll let you guys have the argument. Nikarutsu, mate, absolutely legend. It says, I'll give you a super chat, not quite 50 or 500, but this should be enough to cover the postage for most. Look, Nikarutsu, my friend, absolute legend. I appreciate it, mate. You've been a long time supporter, and I will always say this: super chats, you guys do not have to do them. They are there. I will read out your chat, but look, the support for the channel is amazing. This is why this channel grows. This is why I think the integrity of the channel is here. I think we get proper debate on here as well. Look, I'm not calling other people's channels out. That is for you to do it. But look, Nikarutsu, mate, legend. I absolutely respect you, mate. Absolute, thank you so much, my friend. Nobody we could get 403 packs from Asda priced at £1.24 and get some change. Google did it. Amazing. Any United fans actually from Manchester? Look, unknown practitioner, come on, please. I beg you, right? I beg you this, right? If you're going to come on to give banter, can you please give us some better banter? Please, call me something. As long as you're not rude, come on. Look, go to ChatGPT and type in there banter, right? But don't mind the banter, right? I find it. I absolutely find that comment. It's like walking outside and saying, "Oh, the sky's blue." It's like walking outside and saying, "Oh, like I can breathe today." Look, mate, come on. You're better than that. You're better than that. Give us some better banter. Let's have a little look. I'm not from Manchester. Let's have a little look. Yes, I am from Manchester. You have no understanding of creating content, talk, and some that I'm not getting into that. You guys can read all that. Let's have a little look. We probably can skip Cunha or Mbemo in someone, get Sim instead. So look, what is wrong with United? Says Red. What is wrong with United? It'll be easier to say what is right. Look, I will simplify this. It is the Glazers, Ineos, the debt, lack of ambition. We've got no money. Players, everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. I get you guys do that. Get a manager that will believe in the club and fans. Look, Red Rose, it's got nothing to do with the manager. It's nothing to do with the manager. Look, I genuinely wish that was the case, right? I would have loved it for Amorim. Look, if Amorim had been backed fully and got his players, right, and then he would have been sacked because he was shit, I would accept that every day of the week. If Amorim had his players and his formation, his tactics still weren't great, and we knew these players could be, if these players could play, no issue at all, right? But he wasn't. I'll be here every show. Just ask JB, says Sally, and it's the first time I've ever talked about Goldbridge. Sully is a legend of this chat. Look, guys, the Goldbridge chat. Look, the Goldbridge stuff. Look, he is who he is, and I generally thank you guys for the support. But he is who he is, right? Some people like him, some people don't. Some people like me, some people don't. I think it is a muchness. All I'm going to say in defence, maybe, of him, it is difficult to do this. You get insulted, you get people calling you out. Look, we are better than that. Look, I will call it out if there are things that channels do. I will call it out. But yeah, doesn't matter. Let's have a little look. You just farted, mate. No, I didn't, mate. I didn't. Look, trust me. If I was gonna fart, do you think I care? I wouldn't give a shit. Literally. Just farted. Maybe you can bottle it and use it as your next manager. Love it. Neves are United still shopping in the Cleveland section in Poundland. Look, Irons, was it? No, Irons TV. I don't care right now. We need numbers. I don't care. We need numbers. You naughty little devil. Crap me up. United can't attract top level players anymore. You literally buy from Wolves and for Brentford. Irons. Do you not see the hypocrisy of what you just said there? Do you not see that? Manchester City, I've literally just bought Semenyo from Brentford. Do you not see the irony of what you just said there? Eze, Arsenal bought Eze from Crystal Palace. We are littered with players from all sorts of leagues that you buy Premier League proven players. Aguehi, Liverpool are trying to get him. So Irons, mate, I think Irons, what you should probably do is go and sit in a corner, have a little think about what you've done, Irons TV, and then come back when you've got a more educated view. Max says that Max, thank you, my friend, for the support, buddy. Super chat in there, mate. Absolute legend. I appreciate it, mate. Absolute legend. Thank you so much, my friend. Absolute, just thank you. How about we get Robin van Persie back? The last few good days because of him. Great work, sir. United till we die, mate. Look, Mac P6439, legend, mate. I can't even thank you enough. Look, RVP, as much as look, eventually an ex-player is gonna be good, right? Unless we back a manager fully, it doesn't matter. You could get Steve Bruce in, you could get whoever. But look, mate, we are, and the one thing that we do, my friend, on here is that we stick together. Legend Mac, thank you, buddy. Rather Mbeumo than Cunha, I just want them better. Umbongo, they drink it in the Congo, mate. Cunha is struggling, I think. Silly comment, he never showed anything to deserve being back. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I mean, I struggle sometimes with people. Amorim was 5th, 6th. That's the best can hope for to achieve. Makes no sense. So, look, I agree with you, Irons TV. That's a very, after the first comment, you've pulled it back with that comment. I've predicted 8th to 6th. I agree with you, mate. I agree with you completely. I think we should have stuck with him. Completely agreed. Bringing Allardyce. I'm off the naughty step, people. Yes, you are. New one in JB. We in talks with the PSG manager. As he walks off the naughty steps, he walks into a right. People are obsessed with farts. Do you think Conor Gallagher would be a good shout? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. He's got a Spurs, but I think he'd be a good signing. I do think he would. I think we need squad players. I do. The United team must cost hundreds of millions of pounds, and you need to show you can manage the team enough to deserve being backed, and didn't show anything to prove that he deserved it. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? That I respect the opinion because that is your view. I will give you my view. These weren't Amorim's players. I don't care. You cannot link Amorim to the £1 billion that we spent on players. They're nothing to do with him. We played a back four, and a lot of these players have left or fucking retired. You bring in a manager that plays a specialist 3-4-3, right? You don't give him his players. Amorim wanted certain players, and he didn't get them. He wanted a Gyökeres, a Quenda. He didn't get his players. Amorim didn't choose these players. Amorim has a specific system. The hundreds of millions of pounds, right? He didn't spend those. He didn't spend this money. The club did. Wilcox spent it. Barada spent it. Amorim didn't want these players. He got his 4th, 5th choice striker, right? I know you're talking about to manage a team, right? How can he manage Luke Shaw? How can he manage a Dalot? How can he manage a Casemiro? How can you manage a team? This team has sacked multiple managers. What are you talking about? How can he didn't get his place? You bring in a specialist manager, you don't back him. How is this his fault? Look, again, we've had this argument time after time. It's been proven. It has been proven it is these players. It's been proven time and time again. It is these players. It has been proven. Let's go through these chats. The firm needs to go. I do agree. Taffy says Conor Gallagher would be amazing for you guys, a box to box and plenty of passion. I do agree. Harif said, should United go for Southgate? If not, why? Beggars can't be choosers. Because Harif, if we want any credibility, if we want to progress, and this club and Sir Jim is promoting the best in class, the best of the best, Southgate is not the man. Exactly. Southgate bought Bournemouth, says Irons. Sorry, Bournemouth. I meant Bournemouth. Yeah, you know what I mean. Buying Cunha from Wolves isn't a bad thing. Examples prove it's good investment. Yeah. It's good that mods in here are not racist farts like most chats. No, we absolutely do not accept that in here. City have been trying to do it for years. Paqueta, Douglas Luiz. Johnny Hill Legend says, football terrorists on a mission to embarrass their platform. Can't believe I read their title when it says Gallagher better than Mainu. Oh, Johnny. Yeah, look, you know. Other channels do what they do, you know. Let them, you know. Yeah, look. Wilcox wanted younger players, but then our last target was Semenyo and now Neves. Make it make sense. Hansi Flick, how can you be racist towards a fart? Flick, Congo, wow, racialist. It's jungle. JB, the look of disappointment in the chat. No, it is hilarious. JB is going to need therapy soon if the chat doesn't cool down. You guys go for it. Would you take Hoyland back? It seems to find the back of the net. Yeah, I would. We need 2 strikers, Nathan. I would take him back. I'm not going to lie. Yes, I would take him back because we need 2 strikers. Good afternoon, Simon from a wet Lincolnshire. Is always wet in Manchester. Yes, it is. Why not sign Noel or Liam? There's an oh Jesus. What do you think gave the board confidence that Carrick is the right coach? It seems to be an appointment based on convenience rather than substance. It is nothing to do with substance. It is nothing to do with tactics. Ollie was the favourite, and then everybody called Ineos out on the basis that they paid him £10 million to leave. That is the reason why he is not in charge. That is the reason why he's not in charge. Fart says, I click like, thank you, my friend. You can't say these weren't his players at this stage. You are the biggest team. You should have been able to make that. Look, I respect the opinion. I respectfully disagree. This wasn't his team. If you look at what Amorim wanted in his team, they didn't get him his players. But look, if you disagree, it is your prerogative to disagree. You sparked off a conversation. I think it's a very, very valid conversation to have. I just respectfully disagree. If you can't work with the players, then he was never going to get a whole team. So he'd have to have a 75% of them. If you can't work with them, he's wrong for the job. Bye. And again, look, that's your view. And many people share that view. Many people share that view. Many people don't share that view. And if you want to look for patterns, these players recently have sacked Ranić, Ollie, Ranić, Ten Hag. You know, are you trying to say? And this is just a thing. Grimsby, was Grimsby on the coach? Was Everton on the coach? Was Brighton on the coach? Was West Ham on the coach? I'm just saying. At least Carrick has been decent, active, unlike Ollie in the last 4 years. He's also left his last managing role here classy and eventful. I mean, so not for you. Palam says, look at Madrid. They sacked Xavi, and because he lost the Clasico, I want my club to back to these standards. Can't even imagine Madrid finishing 15th, losing to Spurs, never winning 2 games in a row. Look, all I'm going to say is that Madrid are in a very privileged position. I agree with you. I do agree with you. Madrid act like an elite club. Madrid are never finishing 15th in that league. La Liga, look, I'm not going to be rude about it, La Liga. The depth isn't there. Madrid are never going to finish anywhere below 4th. Steve says you've got to build a team from scratch. I do agree with you there. Can Newcastle beat City tonight? We'll see. We'll see. We will see. Newcastle can do, yeah. Nathan says, let me shut down this Amorim debate with the chat. If you hire a chef and tell them to make you a spaghetti bolognese and you don't give him the ingredients, he will fail. It's the same with the manager. Look, Nathan, you don't have to shut this chat down, buddy. We agree with you. There is one person. Look, people will disagree, right, Nathan? I think you make a good point. Nathan, I think you make a very, very, very good point. I agree with you. You go and hire a coach to play a 3-4-3, and then you don't give him the ingredients to back it up with, right? There are unfortunately people, and it's perfectly fine, who don't think in the same way as you, don't think in the same way as me, right? And that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. But look, I disagree with what was said. There are some people that wholeheartedly look. There are some people that believe that the Glazers are fantastic people. There are some people that believe that Ineos are great and they're doing a fantastic job. That is up to them. I would never stop them from coming onto the channel. I'd only ask them if they're going to enter in that debate is, look, give your reasons, because I would give my reasons. So that's it, really. Dino, the legend, next. Other channels are losing out. You guys are cracking me up. United getting Neves. I doubt it. We are so low during windows. No wonder other clubs pounce quicker. And look, we are scrambling, Simon. We are scrambling around. We are scrambling around, scratching around. And look, I'm not going to report on Neves again unless it literally is about to happen, or unless I get told something. I'm not going to report on it, because I guarantee you channels are going to spam the shit out of this now. Let's go through this. Go through that. Neves is a good option, says Brad, especially because of how cheap he is. Look, Brad, I agree with you completely. I agree with you completely. Agree with you. Arlo says Neves would be great under Amorim. Exactly, Arlo. Some of these players we are trying to get. We have more chance of getting them on a FIFA game, says Simon. It's a friendly banter in small amounts. Exactly. So look, guys, I am going to go. Look, fantastic show again. Again, the reasons why these shows take so long is because I answer your chat. You guys in there seem to have a fantastic time. Look, I love it. So look, guys, I should be back tonight. I might not be back tonight, but I will look to be back tonight. Probably the same time. I'm going to look to try to do about 10 o'clock tonight. It really does depend. But yeah, I do love the late show. I won't do a watch along for tonight's show, mate. But I will do a late show tonight, just simply because it's my turn to look after the kids tonight. But look, Nikarutsu, legend, my friend. But look, I will do a late show tonight. The late shows are your shows. So bringing stuff tonight. Simon says I'm going to go for 2-1 to Newcastle. I think that is. But look, guys, have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. You guys are legends. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. We get bigger and better every single day. It's all thanks to you guys. So look, I can't thank you enough. I'll never get tired. I'll never get tired of thanking you guys. Amazing. So look, guys, Dino, I'm not saying that word. So look, guys, I will be back this evening for another lecture. If anything does break, I will come back on. I'm not coming back on when Carrick is announced. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. Simon says, JB, the king of streams. Look, guys, I stream because you guys are the best. So I will be back this tonight. I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel. And have a fantastic rest of your day and take care.